Okay, so here's one right there. We can see that price came over here, swept this liquidity, swept more. Let's see if we can get a bearish move down. Okay, so right there, we're waiting for price to get back to this break and retest. But in the meantime, we can actually wait for price to get back, right? So let's look over here. All right, so again, typical example. This one may or may not have been, this may or may not be the best, but I'll show you here. Here's a low, right? People wait for this to be broken. Then people wait to enter from the supply, right? Then they get swept out right over here. Okay, so they'll get swept right there. Let's put this to a red line here, just so you guys can see, right? So that's where you get swept. However, in my case, I would enter a little bit differently. I would enter from here. Okay, so, and the reason why is because that's liquidity right there, right? I would enter there. Notice how I'm entering at before the break happens. Okay, just like that. Before the break happens, I would have already entered. Boom. So other traders that have entered after the chalk would have lost this trade. Right, at that 50 EQ, probably riskier. You might even put your risk a little bit above the high, right? Maybe to gain this, right? However, a lot of traders would have lost this. They typically put their stop loss right above the high, right there, and then price already took off. Okay, so that's another example. Let's look for another one. Okay, I can see one right over here. We have a sweep of this high, right? A lot of people will wait for this chalk. Okay, my entry is right here. There's your sweep of liquidity. I would take an entry here, right? Risk at the high and take price bearish. Notice that all the time, this one's a little premature here because this one is still building, right? You can see prices are still running. However, we're looking to get into the impulse, right? The actual impulse. And here we go. Here's another example. This one's impulsively bearish. Here's where a lot of people wait for the chalk, right? Now, I don't know how you would enter this. This could look like a breaker, maybe. I don't know. You know, a lot of people have their own ways, right, to look to enter. You might be able to do this supply zone, but then you can see that wick did not reach your supply zone. So you might have missed this, right? Depending on how you see this, because everything is obviously subjective. You would have seen this most likely as a breaker as well, right? So you might have done that, maybe. I see this as liquidity sweeping, and then I'm entering in again. So that's that for that, right? I want to show you guys here how, right, from all this buying pressure that's happening here, right? Everything looks bullish, right? Until we get to this low here, right? This buy here is still on the buy side, right? It's still buying, right? We're still bullish here. However, when price is starting to return to go bearish, right? It did break this low. However, in here you can see that the buyers are contradicting the sell. That means buyer pressure, excuse me, it's right here. Buyer pressure, right? Buying pressure, selling pressure. Then buying pressure goes back above. So this, if you saw this, you might have thought to yourself, right here, we're still bullish, right? Just like this. So why would anybody want to go against a bullish falling knife, right? That means price is still running bullish. What if I entered here and then price all of a sudden just went against me, right? Well, this is the know-how of the market. This is how I know price is going to go to our direction, bearish, because we've been obviously overbought here. You can see that, right? Overbought, everything was extended, and then we look for prices to go bearish. It's just it's the rule and the law of price. Okay, let's go back to the higher time frame and let's go do another example. Let's see here, we got that swept. Okay, so we got this liquidity swept here, right? And then let's go down to the lower time frame. Let's see if we catch anything. All right, so here we go. Let's play this quickly. All right, nothing in here actually. To be real honest, there is a chalk here. Okay, people would have waited for that. Nothing really that gives away. My entry criteria is not there either, so I would have missed this one out. I would have been sitting out on this one. But then we have the external chalk in here. or right, the external chalk right here, you can see it, right? And then here is your liquidity right there. All right, let's see if this will play out. Okay, so this one kind of goes into, so it's a little, it's what do you call it? It's sort of going bullish and bearish at the same time. The typical entry here, excuse me, let me just do this. Good. Because the range here is so big, right, from the zone, from this low to this high here, it's too big, right? I wouldn't want to just enter this way and leave my risk this. It looks enticing, but I would want, because this range is so big, the zone, I want to minimize it. So I wouldn't be able to enter the way I would want from this point of view. However, here it is. Here is actually the example right here, guys. We got this break, right? The liquidity, right? And then we have, what is that? There's your sweep, right? So I would want to enter here, actually, with the risk right tight, very tight like this. Now, a lot of other traders would wait for the chalk here, right? I'm already in this trade, right? And then so price runs. Okay, well, I would target the supply zone right here because this is the next high right there, the next low, just like so, just like that, right? So again, a lot of people would wait for the chalk here, right? Whether you enter here or not is entirely up to you. It's a little too late for me. Let's go for supply there, right? You might just be able to sell here just to get to here, right? But I'm already up here. Notice how that impulse starts to run, right? There's no confirmation. This is still bullish. You can see buyers, higher highs and higher lows are happening here, but I've already entered up there, right?